Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Extension Office Friday, so I am chatting today on the Zooms with Emily Schultz. She is the Warren County 4-H Extension Agent. We're going to learn all about the 4-H camps that are going to be happening probably before any parents even realized it was time, Emily. It is time now.
It is. Yeah, it's coming up so quickly.
This is something that you guys plan year round. It's not like you finish the camp and then you don't think about it again until camp season rolls back around. You're constantly trying to figure out what new things you can do, how registration's going to work. This is a year-round planning process for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, once camp ends, we get back into it, start planning. Okay, what are our dates? When are we going to start recruiting teams to be counselors? What went well that year? And then what can we improve on in the future as well?
So for somebody who isn't overly familiar with how the 4-H camps work, can you talk to me a little bit about what they are, who they're for?
We're lucky in Virginia that every county in Virginia goes to some type of 4-H camp. So here in the northern Shenandoah Valley, we have two different clusters of camp between our counties that happen during the year. Frederick, Page, and Shenandoah are grouped together, and they go to camp June 14th through the 18th. And then Warren County is grouped together with Clarke and Rappahannock counties, and we go July 5th through the 9th. So that's overnight camp, 5 days, 4 nights, and it's a blast. I absolutely love it. I probably have more fun than the kids sometimes. We have it for ages 9 to 13. So we go 4-H age, which is a little weird if you're not familiar with it. So it's as of September 30th, 2026, that's your 4-H age for the year. So even if you're 8 now, but you're going to be 9 before September 30th, you could still go to camp. But unfortunately, if it's your birthday's a little after that, you got to wait one more year.
We've had a lot of conversations about that cutoff. So there are probably just as many families going, yes, you turn 9 in August, so you're good. And then other parents that are like, what? You don't turn 9 till October? Ah.
Yeah, you definitely get a little mix of that. So we're up at the 4-H Center here in Front Royal. So it's really nice for our county, at least, that we're local and it's just a couple minutes away. So your kids are never too far away if you send them to camp. And it's a beautiful center if you haven't been up there. It's up in the mountains, lots of wildlife, lots of nature, and it's a great facilities. They're always doing new work on it.
It is a true camp experience for these kids because they are bunking up together. It is an overnight camp. You don't let them bring screens, so there's no cell phones, things like that. They really do get to immerse themselves in all these fun activities. And then there's hiking and they get to have meals together. It is a true camp, like what many of my generation remember from when we were kids.
Yeah, it's great. And the no screens, I know sometimes parents might be a little worried that they can't get in contact with their kids, but the adults all have walkie-talkies. We all have cell phones. The center has phones, and they're never left alone because we know kids can get into trouble sometimes if they're left with their own devices. So we make sure they're always supervised by us and our trained teen counselors. But yeah, it's a true camp experience, but we're lucky we have air conditioning. That's what makes it a little bit better.
Talk to me about the camp counselors because you have counselors, the teens that are there, a lot of them went through the camp themselves.
Yeah, a lot of them started when they were clever buds, going to day camps. And then when they were 9 to 13, they went to the overnight camp as campers. And then they come back as CITs, which are our counselors in training when they're 13, 14. And then the next year they get to be counselors. So that's when they have more supervisory roles where they are overseeing their group of campers, making sure they're getting where they need to be, making sure they're having a great time at camp, and just having a blast all together. They absolutely love camp. They love coming back. And I know we have some that are multi-generational, like their parents went to camp, their grandparents, and we have some volunteers that their kids are going to camp now or are counselors, but they still are volunteering all these years later as well.
I was lucky enough a couple of years ago to go up to the 4-H center during one of the camps, and I got to walk around. Stacy, your predecessor, met up with me, and I got to walk around and see all the different activities that the kids were doing in the different pockets. And I talked to some of the counselors and the counselors in training because they have to do that a little bit before they become an official counselor. And there were a lot of them that said that they had such a good time at camp that they wanted to come back, even though they had aged out. There were several that I talked to that really enjoyed their time at camp and wanted to continue that experience.
Yeah, we have about 40 teams all together, and I think 14 CITs this year. So those ones that just aged out and they want to come back and be counselors. So that's great that we still have so many coming back wanting to do that. And they go through about 24 hours of training with us to make sure they're ready for camp, that they know all the procedures, how to keep themselves and all the campers safe, and how to make sure they have a fun time while they're at camp.
Talk to me a little bit about the investment that a parent would need to make. If they have a child who's 10 years old and lives in Warren County, for example, how do they register? What does it cost? What does that part of it look like?
So we have an online registration system. So we posted things on Facebook, on our websites. And so that's just a link where you would register your kid. And then after we get that registration, we send you some more information on how to pay, how to enroll them online, and other forms that we need filled out for camp. So this year, I know for us, it's $400, and that includes all the meals, the lodging, camp t-shirt, supplies, all that fun stuff for the whole week. So we try to keep it as cheap as we can, and we're one of the cheaper weeks, I think, of camp too at this point. So that just covers everything. We don't make money off of it. It's just to cover the basics to make sure we're getting everything we need to get done.
Do you have any kind of a deal, I guess you'd call it, if someone has two children, if they have a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old?
So we do offer some scholarships. We're lucky here in Warren County that we have a great community, that we have different partners that sends us some money each year to send out scholarships for campers. We also partner with Michael Williams here in Warren County, who sends us quite a few of his kids from early act in the 4-H group at E. Wilson on scholarships. And our Volunteer Leaders Association also gives some money that we could send kids to camp on that as well. So we try to make sure anyone that wants to go to camp can, and we will find that money somewhere if $400 isn't feasible. I know it's a big chunk of money, especially in the economy right now. So we totally understand, especially if you have multiple kids, if that's a little too steep.
When you mentioned earlier that the Frederick Page and Shenandoah camp is June 14th through the 18th, and the Clarke Warren Rappahannock camp is July 5th through the 9th, what if I live in Frederick County, but the June dates don't work for me? Can I register my kid for the Warren Clarke Rappahannock camp?
Yeah, absolutely. We have kids from surrounding counties that our week works better and vice versa. We might have some in our county that go to a different week just because they have family vacation or something else going on that week that doesn't work for them. So we want to make sure every kid has the opportunity to go to camp if they can. So we just work amongst ourselves and say, hey, do you have an open spot in your county that this kid could go to your camp, vice versa. So it works out great that we all talk all the time. So it's not a big deal if we have that situation occur. We even have some of our teen counselors might go to multiple weeks of camp if they need some extras. I know I have a few that do that, especially our male teens. They might swap between counties just because they need the extra help.
And that's the other cool thing from a behind the scenes perspective is that you're not working in your own Warren County bubble. You're working with the Clarke agent, and you're working with the Rappahannock agent. And then, quite frankly, you're working with Page, Frederick, and Shenandoah as well, because it is one big camp that's other little camps.
Yeah, we all work together. Even some of the other counties that aren't part of our area necessarily, you might get ideas from them, or they might help out with some training if we need some additional support if someone's going to be gone that day or something. And we're lucky that Rappahannock has a new agent there that started back in January, and they're great. We're really glad that they're on board with us, and they're super excited to be able to go to camp this year.
I remember when you did the show, I think it was last March, and we were talking about the 4-H camps. You were fairly new in this position then, and now you've got a camp under your belt. And I can imagine what a benefit you would be to that Rappahannock person to say, look, I've been where you are right now, and this is how much fun it's going to be. And trust me, you're going to love this.
Yeah, this is my third year of camp, or my third year being here. So definitely have a little more experience now. And once you go to camp, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. It just seems a little scary at first if you're not used to it or you weren't exposed to that when you were younger.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about what some of the activities are that the kids get to do at the camp. I think that was the biggest thing for me when I was there walking around during one of the camps was there were so many different things that the kids could be doing. And I would have had a hard time picking what I wanted to do because I would have wanted to do all of the things. But can we talk a little bit about some of the activities in the next segment?
Yeah, we have a lot of great activities that happen here at camp.
We are on the Zooms today with Emily Schultz. She is the Warren County 4-H Extension Agent. We're talking about the 4-H overnight camps. Again, Page, Frederick, and Shenandoah camp is June 14th through the 18th. Warren, Clarke, and Rappahannock is July 5th through the 9th. We're going to get more details for both of those when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
This Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. She doesn't know that yet. All she knows is that she went to justserve.org and volunteered an hour of her time. Browsing through dozens of service opportunities in her community, April decided to spend her Tuesday evening serving dinner to mothers and their children at a transitional house. She doesn't know she'll be serving a particular mother and daughter who will be spending their first night in this home. April doesn't know that the hot meal she'll serve is the first this mother and daughter will have had in a week, or that the simple smile she'll offer as she serves them will help them realize that things are going to be all right. Which is why this Tuesday, April Davis will change the world. See the difference you can make. Sign up for service opportunities in your community. Visit justserve.org.
Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Extension Office Friday, so we are on the Zooms with Emily Schultz. She is the Warren County 4-H Extension Agent. We're learning about the 4-H overnight camps. They're happening in June and in July. If you are in Page, Frederick, or Shenandoah County, it is June 14th through the 18th. If you're in Warren, Clarke, or Rappahannock, it is July 5th through the 9th, although they may be a little interchangeable. But the one thing that isn't interchangeable is the age, 9 through 13. You've got to be 9 before September 30th of this year. So gotten all of those kinds of things out of the way. So Emily, why would a parent choose a 4-H camp over, say, any other kind of overnight camp? What is it that set you guys apart?
The one thing that we have is we are accredited by the ACA, or the American Camp Association. So all the 4-H centers go through the different steps they need to make sure they're accredited. So that means we're safe, we're managing risk properly. So everything is set up to make sure that it's a good camp experience and it's a safe one. So that puts parents' minds at ease a little bit. And I think there's 300 standards that are reviewed every couple of years for that certification. So it's quite a bit to make sure that we're following all those guidelines. We are so lucky that our camp is a couple miles away here in Warren County, but they get to experience the great outdoors. They make new friends, learn new skills. They're more independent at the end of camp. They spend time with positive role models like the teen counselors or summer staff and our adult volunteers. And they go through different classes every day. There's swimming, there's rec time, evening programs, campfire. So there are so many things they're doing. They get exposed to so many new things. And a lot of times we hear like, oh, I made a new friend at camp, or I know I have some teen counselors now that they met at camp. Now they're best friends. They're counselors together now as well. So it's great what they take away from it and all these new skills they learn and just helping them to be successful in their future. And with 4-H, our main goal is to make sure that we are producing successful youth that'll be successful adults in the future.
It's really great, too, because when you put these camps together, like yours in particular, Warren, Clarke, and Rappahannock, there are kids that are going to come from Clarke County that Warren County kids may never have known or met otherwise. And like you said, they meet at camp, and then they meet at camp every year, and they really do look forward to seeing each other, and they become friends outside of camp.
Yeah, and our teen counselors, they're fantastic. Like, I'll see them go to each other's sporting events or different things they're involved in across counties. And I always love seeing that even outside of camp that they're still hanging out together and they're still getting along and supporting each other.
The other thing that I've always appreciated as a parent is that the camp isn't all just fun and games. There are responsibilities. The kids have to decide what they're going to wear every day. They have to clean up after themselves. There are responsibilities that they also have to take on that sometimes they end up coming home a better kid than when they left. And parents are like, wait, you've never done that before. Keep doing that.
Yeah, that's our goal, to make them more successful and for them to at least learn something at camp that they can take home with themselves. And they always are learning something new. I learn things that are new at camp as well. And our classes, they're so much fun, but there's a lot of educational components to it as well to make sure that they are gaining new skills from it. It's not just doing it just to do it.
What kinds of activities do you have planned for the Warren, Clarke, Rappahannock camp?
We're still figuring out all the exact details, but some of the classes that kind of happen every year are archery, arts and craft, bracelet making, canoeing, creeks and critters, campfire cooking, our high ropes courses. We have a leadership development class for our CITs. There's outdoor living skills, swimming, newspaper photography, tie-dye, wacky science. I think we're going to be adding some leather crafts this year as well to our classes that we're going to be doing county-based. So yeah, there's always a lot of new things to try out. And I get to sometimes go to the classes and hang out a little bit and get to participate too. So I love it.
That's the other part of this is that you'll have kids that are coming that maybe have never seen a horse, that maybe have never hiked in the wilderness. I say using air
Mhm.
quotes because they are trails and the 4 H center
Yeah.
does a really good job of maintaining the grounds. But there are kids that are going to have very first ever experiences that they might not have gotten otherwise.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's their first time that they're away from home, even. And, what better place to do it with a couple hundred kids?
So I always like whenever that topic comes up during these conversations, I always like to ask if you remember any kids that were not at all happy about being dropped off and then were not at all happy about being picked up.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Yeah, there's been a few that they're crying when they get dropped off and then they're crying when they have to leave. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad, not that you're crying, but that you've changed why. That's because, oh, I don't want to leave camp. I don't want to go home. I want to have more time with friends and more time doing what they love.
And I think that's harder sometimes on us as parents is to leave them. It's a double-edged sword, I would imagine, in that they want them to go and they want them to have this experience. They want a couple of nights off from being a parent. But at the same time, here's this kid who is really struggling. It really is probably a very emotional day when drop-off rolls around.
Yeah, it definitely can be. The parents, if they want, they can send letters to their kids during camp week so that they can have little notes of encouragement if needed. But yeah, we keep them so busy that there's not a lot of free time to be worried or to be upset that they're away from home because they have so much fun with what they're doing during camp.
Now, is there a deadline for parents to get their kids registered? I mean, June is going to be here before we know it, and you like to have that information a decent amount of time in advance so you can prepare properly.
Yeah, I know at least for our cluster week, we asked that enrollment and payment and everything be done by May 31st. So that way it gives us a little over a month to sort everything out and make sure all our ducks are in a row.
And that makes sense. We're sitting here mid-April for the most part. So parents still have a little bit of time to get all
Yeah.
of that sorted out and rearrange any vacation plans.
Yes, I know. We try to have our camp days out as early as possible so they can work around that if they need to.
So if a parent is listening and they're thinking, you know what, this is something we're gonna give this a shot today, or it's a parent who has sent their kid for the last couple of years and now they're realizing, oh wait, I got to get this registration done so that we don't miss it this year. Where is the best first place for them to go?
Best thing would probably be to reach out to your local extension agent. So I know for me, you could email or call me. Our office phone is 540-635-4549. And then my email is just eschultz@vt.edu. And similar for all the other counties as well. You can look it up online, their contact information for that particular county. You can also always ask the 4-H Center if you want, if they have details sometimes for some of the counties as well.
And then you mentioned a second ago Facebook. You guys have a Facebook page for Warren County 4-H in particular?
Yeah, we do. We have a Warren County 4-H Facebook page, and I know most of the other counties have their own Facebook page as well. And then we have a camp website for Clarke, Warren, Rappahannock as well that has other information and registration on there too.
And those are always nice because you can find one and then you can connect them with whatever county camp they might actually need.
Yep, absolutely we can.
So what are you looking forward to most about this year at camp? Is there one thing that you now always like, I can't wait for camp to start because I want to do this or see this?
Oh man, each year's been a little bit different. I'm just excited to see what new kids we get and the returning ones as well and see how they've grown from past year. It's always nice getting to see them because I don't always get to see all the kids that attend camp throughout the year like some of my normal 4-Hers I do. So always a good time seeing them and then working with Claudia and Izzy for Clarke and Rappahannock. It's a great team that I get to work with. So we're excited and we plan on having a fun-filled week as well.
And I'm sure you'll take tons of pictures and put it on that Facebook page. So that's a good way for parents who are still on the fence this year or have that 8-year-old to follow along and see this is what they can look forward to next year.
Yes, yeah. I feel like a little bit of a soccer mom sometimes. So let me get your photo real quick.
Emily, thank you for taking the time today to give me all the details. I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Janet, for having me. Always willing to talk about 4-H and always looking for new people to get involved in 4-H as well. So if anyone wants to reach out, contact me or your local 4-H agent. We always would love to have you.
And I will put links to all of that in the show notes so people can go to thevalleytodaypodcast.com and I'll have the email links and all of the links for all of that there that people can find. If you're looking for something, however, to do this weekend, don't forget Frederick County Homesteaders Spring Farm Hop is happening tomorrow. tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Frederick County Fairgrounds. We talked about it earlier this week on Monday. And Art of the Mill opens on Saturday as well. Talked to Nathan about that on Tuesday. So plenty to do out and about in the Shenandoah Valley this weekend. So go out, enjoy it, have a great time, and I'll meet you back here on Monday with a brand new episode of The Valley Today.